My name is Parker Thompson. I am from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, and I am 23 years old, racing for JDX Racing. So how I got into racing was from my dad. It was kind of funny. He raced everything but four wheels, and his mainstay was in bikes. So he raced dirt bikes and he raced Grand Prix bikes. He got to the point where he was just starting to get paid, and he busted himself up enough on bikes to know that probably wasn't what he wanted for his son. But when I was 5 years old, I got my first PW50 Yamaha dirt bike, and it took 2 weeks for my mom to sell that out from under myself and my dad. And she said, no racing on two wheels. I had that with my husband. I'm not having that for my son. So I had to wait till I was 8 years old to get a go-kart. So I got my go-kart. I did 3 laps, and I knew that it was pretty much what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. You hear Porsche and you automatically think motorsports. It's one of the most synonymous brands with motorsport. So it's pretty cool. Red Deer, Alberta, for those of you who don't know what Red Deer, Alberta is, Alberta's a beautiful place, Canada's a beautiful place, but it's not the first thing you think of when you think motorsports. So it's pretty cool for myself to represent all of Canada this year with Porsche Motorsport, being a Porsche Junior here for North America. The whole car is Canadian, so it's really cool. A lot of people don't know, but Porsche is a giant brand in Canada. We're one of the leading sales per capita for Porsche. So it's really cool that I get to connect with all these Porsche Motorsports fans and enthusiasts and really carry that flag for them. What can we expect from myself and JDX Racing in Sebring? Well, I'll break it down. My background is in open wheel cars. So in 2019, how JDX and I started racing together was in 2019, Jeremy Dale, who is actually Canadian, he lives in the States now, but he owns JDX Racing. He gave me a phone call while I was racing open wheel cars to come and try the number 3 Hertz Porsche, and that was the 991-2 car that they had at the time in Porsche Cup Challenge. So I went and did 2 races for him. I ended up coming in and winning on the second race. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, I stayed with the open wheel stuff. We didn't get to race again that year, but I got my taste and I got my hook into sports cars thanks to Jeremy Dale. So coming into this year, when we looked at my opportunities and looked where my career should go, you know, the open wheel is tough. It takes a lot of money and there's not a lot of manufacturer support. So Jeremy Dale gave me a call in the off season and he said, do you want to go full-time sports car racing this year? Because I need a commitment. So we ended up signing up. So we came here, we did the two-day test in the car about a week ago in Sebring. That was my first time back with a roof over my head since 2019. So had to knock the rust off, have to go through the motions of driving. Obviously the 992 is a lot different to the 991, and I had to get used to that. And I'm still getting used to just a roof over my head and sitting on the left side of the car. So it's going to be a long war. This is just one battle here at Sebring. We're going to get through it. We know we're a little bit behind the 8 ball. We know that we haven't tested as much as some teams, but I feel like I'm very confident in JDX and what they do. I'm very confident in what I do as a driver. The goal is the championship, but in order to win the championship, we have to get through Sebring clean. So if we can't win the race, we just got to bring home points. My ultimate goal as a driver is beyond just getting paid to race cars. Racing for me isn't racing if you can't win. And I want to go to wherever I want to go to wherever I can win. So I want to race at the highest level, but I don't just want to be a grid filler. I want to make sure that I'm with a manufacturer that takes winning seriously, and I put myself in a position to win championships and win races. So wherever that may be, I'm really not that picky. You know, I'll race anything with 4 wheels and a motor. I just want to be at the pointy end of the grid, and I'm willing to put in the work. So at the start of the year with the Porsche Junior program, they said that we need to have a passion project that gives back to the community, that's not just about racing, that's actually about the good of not only motorsports, but the good of automobiles and auto sports enthusiasts. So to give you background into my passions away from the racetrack, when I was 16 years old, I had a friend get involved in a really serious distracted driving accident while she was texting and driving. I approached my local high school to bring in a texting and driving campaign to talk about the dangers of texting and driving. And my high school principal said, we can't find one, there's really nobody to do it. Why don't you do it? You have responsibilities behind the wheel of driving a car in motorsports, so why don't you put together a presentation? And that was 6.5 years ago now, and since then I started that one presentation. The year after that I got hired by the Alberta government and the government of Canada to speak to teenagers across Canada on the dangers of distracted driving, and I've spoken to over 100,000 high school students on the dangers of texting and driving. So I would say that's my passion to give back. It goes hand in hand with racing. You know, I pride myself that I'm not just driving race cars selfishly. I do care about other people in the community, and that's my avenue to give back. So during this year, obviously letting the COVID guidelines and staying strict, but hopefully we're going to present. We have a sponsor, Buyers Porsche, out of Columbus, Ohio, so we'll be putting on some presentations in Columbus, Ohio with their support, and that'll be my passion project to give back here in 2021.